champ select is finally here. So because of the snafu on Tournament Realm, we are playing this on a live. Darius is available, but because of the late start, Team Green Forest will be starting with a 1-game disadvantage. Alchemy Gaming only needs to win 1 to move on to round of 16.
Yeah, and we'll see how they work this out. I don't know if NK Inc. is a permanent member of TGF now, because as far as I know, he's on another team, and I can't remember the team, but they're not. Regardless, he's not signed up in our IPL qualifiers, and works as a legal sub. But I don't know. It should be pretty interesting because he's definitely a top player. So not only is TGF a really aggressive team, but they have a top tier sub in the form of NK Inc. And we'll have to see. He primarily is a jungler, but he has kind of swapped around on a number of roles. I don't remember all the roles for TGF. I think Swift is their AD. I don't know. We'll see soon enough.
We'll find out in a minute.
There's so many teams out there, but
there's so many teams. There's so many names. It can get confusing at times. But I can tell you right now, that pretty lady for first pick on Alchemy is Janna. Pretty good support, if I do say so myself.
Yeah, definitely a strong all-around pick. You get the movement speed buff to your whole team. So Janna as a support, she has really nice disables. She has the shields, but then the passive movement speed buff that she gives to everyone is really effective for taking control of the map early on. And on the other side, we see Graves and Tarek, and that's going to be a really aggressive bottom lane. They just have so much burst damage. It's I don't know, really difficult to deal with. And against Janna, Janna's attack damage shield, this is always something to consider. When you lose the shield, you lose the damage buff. So against someone like Graves, he can very easily pop that shield, so you're going to lose the buffs, and then they have enough burst damage to kill you. So it's going to be a really aggressive bottom lane.
But keep in mind, remember the 3 champs we mentioned before, Kog'Maw, Urgot, and Jax. 2 of them are available. TGF actually not going to go with either one of them. So it's entirely possible a Jax and an Urgot pickup from Alchemy right now would just be ridiculous.
Yeah, that's definitely true.
That'd be crazy ridiculous. I mean,
and I always enjoy the Urgot Janna pick as bottom lane. It always works out very well. Urgot really pairs with any support almost very well. And having the double shield, though, is very effective. It makes you very tanky early on, gives you a nice little damage boost.
Actually going to be grabbing, considering Nunu here, and since there's already a Janna support that I haven't seen Nunu jungle in forever, and the ganks can be quite strong, just the ice ball, a very big slow, plus you're building AP, which means your ult really hurts. It really hurts. That's a thing. I think that's like the most high scaling ability in the game. It's like a 2.5.
Yeah, it is. It's actually a 2.5 ability power ratio, which is why Nunu's ultimate is always so disruptive. I like the Nautilus pick a lot better. Yeah.
Nautilus is open. He's one of the top junglers at the moment. Immense CC. Plus, you also have Ashe. Janna shield with Ashe on that first hit. Guaranteed crit on that thing. Could really hurt. Plus, you have the arrow for initiation. But Jax, alas, still open. TGF's going to go ahead and grab him. And Shyvana being picked as well. So more likely Shyvana in the jungle. And Shyvana definitely has the opportunity to get the edge on Nautilus as we start going on after first clear. A little bit of counter jungling can be going on over there as well.
Yeah, and it's nice. Versus Nautilus, a lot of times you want to go either Mundo or Shyvana, and both of them, they are those kind of aggressive counter junglers. Because we have Janna on the enemy team, though, Shyvana works out a little bit better than Mundo, has the movement speed, so she can clear the map a little bit faster. And the big thing against Nautilus is you want to be wary of his gank presence. And so as long as Shyvana can counter out Nautilus's ganks, be in position. Whenever Nautilus is going to try and get off a gank, you're there to counter engage. That can work out very well for you. We see the Sejuani pick.
Probably going to change.
I would imagine that's going to change, but we'll have to see. It would be an unusual pick. Right now, they really have to worry about Jax. And Jax is just such an absolute monster. Should be able to do pretty well in that top lane. Should be pretty difficult to shut down, but Yorick's actually a decent pick. But it's kind of difficult to say because Yorick can shut down Jax in the early levels very easily. We'll have the follow-up damage for the gank from Nautilus. Maybe get some kills there. That would be huge. But the big thing is after like level 7, Jax just starts jumping on top of Yorick, just stomping him all day. And the damage output from Jax versus Yorick is, Jax versus anyone really is just so oppressive. It's really difficult to deal with. So we'll have to see how they handle that. I really enjoy the Cassiopeia pick as well. Unfortunately, we have the counter pick of Veigar going right into that, so we'll have to see how it works out.
But Vygar here, Vygar really excels against teams with a lot of AP, just keeps stacking damage with that ult. However, the only AP right now on Alchemy is Cassiopeia. Gragas is also an okay pick. Actually, I think I would have liked the Vygar a little bit more, but that's the choice. We've made it. And also, you have the Gragas ult for a lot of dispersal. It does a fair amount of damage, too, if you just want to go ahead and split up all the members of Alchemy. But going to go ahead and see how that works. So these are your teams for game number 1. And do remember that because of the late start, Team Green Force is walking into this game with a 1-game disadvantage. So if Alchemy can win this, they're moving on around to 16. But Yorick, Ghost, Teleport, looking to have a little bit more team fight presence as things go on. So he can be wherever he needs to be to ult an awaiting Ashe, or even a Cassiopeia as well. More than likely an Ashe, though. But that requires Ashe to get a little bit more farmed. So as a ghoul, she can be effective. Also going for the cleanse. It's
interesting. Yorick is one of those champions that can go in the bottom lane. The concern is Garrick and Graves and Tarek is just such an aggressive bottom lane that Yorick probably can't 1v2 them. But
yeah.
If they want to send Janna and Ashe top, like you said earlier, that is a potential against Jax to shut him down. You can send your Ashe and Janna top. Yorick can do okay in that bottom lane. It's kind of interesting. Yorick not going with the Ignite, going with the Teleport instead. So like you said, he will have that map control, which is going to be nice. However, it does make him weaker in lane. And since he kind of wants to shut down Jax, or at least be able to go toe-to-toe with him, not having that Ignite will make that lane go into Jax's advantage even faster. And that's definitely a concern. We'll have to see. A lot of it's going to depend on Nautilus's jungling routes.
Yep.
Versus this, melee team with Jax and Shyvana, and the rest of the team getting kind of close range. Gragas can kind of keep his distance, though. The Shyvana, that AOE is definitely going to be very nice. Mm-hmm. Just throw it right into Jax's face when he comes right at you, so they can get a lot of quick burst damage there. They'll have lots of follow up damage. But like you said, the concern is how much disruption can Gragas have. And early on, Gragas is just going to absolutely be a monster versus both Cassiopeia and Ashe and Janna. He can be very disruptive, just has so much damage early. So that's something they're always going to have to watch out for.
Two things. First off, you scared me with Garrick. I was like, I don't have green mana. What's going on? Second thing going on, Cassiopeia against this team, one money Cassiopeia ult from C. Wiley could actually really do a lot of damage to this team. Petrify most of TGF, focus down either Graves or Jax, and Alchemy could really take this away.
Yeah, I mean, they have a lot of disables. The big thing with Alchemy's team is with the Ashe, we have the movement speed from Janna, then we have the great initiation with both Ashe and with Nautilus. And so if either of them finds a nice opportunity, they can very quickly, win a fight, pick someone off, grab some kills, try and snowball off of that. As the game progresses, the fights move more and more to TGS advantage just because of how strong their late game is. And having Graves and Jax is just such an unstoppable, machine. It's just going to be so difficult for them to deal with. They have a pretty safe team overall, so it's going to be tough for Nautilus to get off ganks. Top lane is probably going to be his easiest target. Bottom lane will be very safe. It's going to be tough to gank there.
Right.
We could see once the Ashe comes in that we see some ganks down there. But regardless, it's mostly going to be a focus on top lane. And so Shyvana is probably going to want to hang out top lane a little bit, not allow Nautilus to get off those ganks, counter gank him a little bit when he's coming in.
So about how far into the game are we looking for the transition from Advantage Alchemy to Advantage Green Forest?
It's really tough to say. I mean, the advantage as far as team fights is in TGF's favor from probably, I don't know, like level 10 on. Like, it's really early in the game, actually. They have an advantage. But we have always the initiation and ultimates from Alchemy. And so with those initiations, with those ultimates, it's, they can always pick off a fight. So they can just decide when they're going to engage. They can disengage with Janna if they like. So they get to pick and choose their fights. And that's always something that you can't underestimate. So we'll have to see how they handle that.
Yeah, because there's not really, and there is one disengage tool from TGF, and that is the Gragas ult. But still, though, we've seen this in the past. The Gragas ult, the barrel, what it does, you throw in the middle of the team, everyone just scatters from the epicenter of the barrel. But at times, it can be quite unpredictable. Sometimes enemies they're flying in directions you do not imagine them to, and it can be at times very difficult to throw a barrel at someone and actually have them go backwards towards you. But then in terms of dispersal, though, I think Jana definitely has it in spades because hers also heals. So it's also a little bit more controllable in necessary instances. Flash ult can also keep people in check as well. So we'll have to see.
Yeah, I mean, Graves is just so aggressive early on. Going with the Hillbilly Graves, which I never enjoyed, to be honest. You have to go with the Baron Gragas. Gragas Esquire is always, the ideal, but
it's casual Tuesday.
Yeah,
it's casual Tuesday. We're not going to the clubs to say he's not breaking out the champagne. We're going just regular good.
I'm pretty sure
boy.
Gragas does whiskey, but
what doesn't Gragas do? Come on, it's Gragas.
But regardless, we see Alchemy Gaming actually coming up pretty aggressively here, and so they do start off with that hook with Nautilus, so they do have some nice engage. They have a really strong level 1 when you consider Ash's damage along with Nautilus, along with Janet can protect them a little bit. I think for the most part they're probably going to go back and just control Nautilus's blue. They just don't want to allow an engage for TGF, so they're ready. They're sitting there waiting for them in case they try and engage. It will be pretty defensive. You see, actually, TGF, though, they're a little bit scared that there might be an engage, so they're all sitting in that bottom bush waiting, because if Alchemy Gaming, if they decide to do the long route through the river, then very quickly TGF will be safe, or they might even go for a quick engage over at the red, so we'll see if that happens.
There is the ward over here. TGF put it by their own wraiths. And you also notice that Pinku right here is actually going for the Locust support build, just going for all wards, no Fairy Charm. Want to get the extra vision because it can be very important. Plus 2 pink wards to try and shut down as much vision from Alchemy as possible in the bot lane. You'll have Janna throw a ward in the bush, throw down the pink ward to get rid of it to continue the aggression down bot. So maybe in the best interest for Alchemy to play a little bit defensive bot for the first few minutes, just to not risk anything, or at the very least just try and bait out the pink wards from Pinku. But
we do see that TGF going to be stealing this red. That's going to set back some of the aggression from Nautilus, and they know they want to get Nautilus off to a good start. They want to get him ganking. So not having that red is definitely going to slow him down a little bit. We'll see who's going to pick it up. It should be Shyvana here. Actually, Shyvana is here. So Shyvana will grab it. Unfortunately, it does reset. Not that big of a deal. They haven't really taken much damage yet. So Shyvana will be able to grab that, get out of there pretty easily. And so that's a nice little advantage. She can go back, grab the blue. We see the ward going down from Janna early on, so they know that they're going to be pretty safe in that lane, but because Tarek and Graves are coming from that direction, they now know that their red is gone. So Nautilus, this gives him an opportunity to gank top, so he's going to come up top, and he knows that Shyvana's not there to counter him out.
She did get the hook level 2. The dredge line is available. He's got blues, waiting to see if Jax gets a little bit too far out, and there indeed he is. Actually getting really far out in the lane, trying to get some harass down on to the York, but he does force the flash and the hook. Lots of damage going down onto Jax. They should burn the flash and at about like a third health. That's a good gank in my eyes. That's a really good gank, especially versus a Jax. Yeah, it's a really nice laning advantage, and it's interesting.
Jax, has to start off with the boots. It's a really common build to start off with the boots. It's not like you're at a disadvantage or anything. However, because Shyvana is a weak ganker, it allows York to start off with cloth armor instead of boots, and so the starting with the cloth armor, he gets the ward as well, so he's going to be very safe in that top lane. A really smart play from Ashes, and being able to have that, the cloth armor, it's going to have a lot of damage mitigation. It's going to be tough for Jax to deal as much as he would like to. Mid lane should generally be pretty safe. Cassiopeia has an early advantage over Gragas. Can harass him down some, but Gragas is just such a safe farmer. He's got the ranged advantage. He's going to be perfectly fine there. So for the most part, it's going to be pretty safe farming.
For the time being, though, there is a little bit of an advantage TGF. I mean, Gragas almost about 20 creeps, while Cassiopeia is only at 11. So Cassiopeia needs an opportunity to just sit back and farm for a little bit to get the extra effectiveness now, but the wave has been pushed close to her tower, so that opportunity will be given. You gotta dodge those barrels, though. Those things hurt. Those things do explode. They do cause quite a bit of pain. And once Gragas does get ult, once Gragas does hit 6, he's got the big, huge explosive barrel. Can do quite a bit of damage, and like I've mentioned before, displace Cassiopeia at just the right instances.
Yeah, and Shyvana coming up top does have the slight advantage over Nautilus because of the jungle. Able to take that red. The ward going to be able to protect Ashes there. We do have some nice quick bursts from Graves and Taric there, though. Now, Graves and Taric versus Ashe and Janna. Ashe versus Graves is always an interesting matchup because it's a very common matchup. Ashe has the range advantage early in the game, and then the volley. You have the slow, so you can just throw it off on Graves, back off, have the range DPS very safely. But Graves, on the other hand, he's got a burst advantage. He has the armor as part of his passive, so he's going to be really tanky early on. He has the burst. And so a lot of it comes down to jungle ganks and how effective you are at picking someone off. If Taric gets the stun onto Ashe, then very quickly they can burst him down. Once we see the ult on the Graves, that's when we're going to see a lot more aggression. We do see Ashes, though, doing a really nice job wearing down Jax here in the top lane.
Very, very good job. I mean, the farm is still starting to swing into Kion's favor, but no more health potions on the dude, so it looks like he may actually be backing. Yes, he will. Going to go ahead and grab a Doran shield for himself, but in the meantime, Janna getting pretty chunked out here in the bot. Going to be a little bit of a dangerous situation there. See Wiley in mid. Gragas is actually looking really healthy, just trying to struggle to farm, but nothing impossible here. Miasma going down just to keep Gragas in check, but the wave is still staying somewhat in the mid. So actually, good call on NK Inc. just to do the best you can to control the lane, keep Cassiopeia away and off of the tower.
Yeah, and if you see in this bottom lane, Pinku with the little pink ward down there wants to be very safe. We are getting some nice aggression on Ashe. Unfortunately, Jax is caught up top once again. We have Nautilus coming down. Ashe is with the damage. There's the hook.
Nice.
He should be able to get out of there with the stun and then a leap to the minions.
Yep.
But again, some damage is done. He will back off, though. Shyvana coming as well to dissuade a future gank. But that bot lane, they just have so much control over this bot lane now. Pinku and Liquidity can be very aggressive there. They have the bush control. They can zone Ashe and Janna because Janna doesn't have a heal. So being able to get that early harass is huge.
Also notice that Jax had the dodge ability up.
Oh, Gragas.
Oh, Gragas, you're coming on up. This could be very bad for Ashes here. But the ward is no longer there. York doesn't know. There's the barrel. Perfect placement to send Ashes back. And there goes a 3-man gank up top, first blood. So this should be a signal to start pushing the other lanes. But CYLE, unfortunately, is not in the best position to do so. But may just go ahead and take the opportunity to go ahead, back, shop. Good call for now. But yeah, unfortunately, the ward just ran out in the top lane. It's just things like that do happen.
And
but
the big thing is he was low on mana for a while and really needed to go back. He wanted to kind of shut down Jax's farm. Jax had a chance to recall, so missing out on the recall opportunity, he wasn't able to get back and get the mana that he needs. He was waiting for the tier, so he has the tier now, which is going to be nice.
Right.
For that lane sustain. But he just gave the advantage right back to Jax, and missing out on a ton of CS and experience as it all just ran right into the tower. So that puts him behind a little bit. And once you're behind against Jax, it can be very difficult to take that lane back over. So we'll see how that works. Jax is mid. We do see the stun going on to Ashe, so Ashe is going to take some nice damage. But mid, in the meantime, Wiley able to get out of there. Does flash. We had the quick stun from Jax, most likely. I'm surprised he actually didn't go down. It looks to me like he probably should have, but probably some really nice play from him there to get out.
Yep. So it looks like now Jax is starting to play the roam game just a little bit to try and get the aggressive kills on the other lanes. But Alchemy could use this to the advantage. Like, okay, Jax is in the top lane. This is Yorick's opportunity to push. And that is something that Yorick does pretty well. You have all the ghouls helping you out, and not to mention you get some extra damage procs off your Q. And if Yorick actually chooses to go Trinity Force, that could be a lot of damage output to keep pressing towers. So have to see
they're
where
going to dive on Janna.
They're going for the dive on the Janna. There is the ult to finish the job, and unfortunately TGF is just outside turret range, but there is the teleport coming in from Ashes. He is here. Can TGF get away?
Cassiopeia as well, so they will be pinching him here. We will get the slow from Ashes.
The slow from Ashes goes down onto Pinku, but Pinku, the flash is up, should be able to actually get over the ridge. Actually, doesn't even need to use it. But NK Inc. getting nice barrel, very well timed to grab two members of Alchemy there. But yeah, successful gank going down a bot for TGF. Good call on the dive.
Yeah, and the big thing is they needed to recall. So Janna and Ashe waiting around probably for a big item. missed their opportunity to recall once again, and so not having that gold advantage, not having the full health and mana, they were very vulnerable in that bottom lane. So Liquidity just taking advantage of it. We do see Nautilus coming in on Gragas here. Gragas does have the body slam, but the nice hook. We do have the slow, and so a lot of damage going on to NK Inc. But there's the Gragas ultimate, and then the flash as well. We have Swift coming in behind, and then Gragas body slamming over the wall. We'll be able to get out of there. Yetis is trying to chase him down, gets the hook, can't get him.
Unfortunate, very unfortunate. Was waited to try and get that hook, but the body. I didn't even know the body slam went.
He's still trying to get out, though.
He's still trying to get out. There is an opportunity for him to deny himself here, though.
He's going to be able to.
He should be able to. There is the hook to grab a little bit more distance, but Gragas is still in pursuit. Just go over to the tower. Can you get to spawn in time? Can you get there? Yes. Good call.
But, so nice play. They're all fine being back in base. They get to buy their items and whatnot.
You have 3 members of TGF displaced back at their own spawn. This gives Ashes an opportunity to push. Once Wiley gets back mid, opportunity to push. Unfortunately, bot lane not as graceful in order to capitalize on that. He's going down on Graves to get a little bit extra damage and reduce damage as well. But there is a little bit of an opportunity loss here from Alchemy, though, I gotta say. But good call. It's sometimes denying yourself is the best option, and Nautilus, it worked. It worked for you.
Yeah, now in this top lane, Yorick's done pretty well so far, but this is about the point when Jax is going to start being more aggressive. We do see some nice harass, but there he is jumping onto Yorick. Yorick doing a nice job with the ghouls. We have the flash stun onto a sense. He is going to go down very quickly, throws off the ultimate to get out of there, but unfortunately Janna does go down. So in a sense, going down.
Yep. Now is the point where you talk about Alchemy. It's like, okay, where does the game plan go from here? And I think a lot of it actually does rely on Ashes getting some sufficient farm. But Jax is just being quite a bit of a bully, ulting himself. We're going in on this. Kyon may not be able to get away from this, but Ashes is there. The flash, and just in time, Ashes will have the ghoul. Can you capitalize? No, you will not be able to, unfortunate. But the wave will be pushed, but Dragon does go down for TGF, so the gold lead
Ash is caught out bottom, though. We have Graves and Tarek surrounding her. We will get some nice damage. Can we get the stun? There's actually not enough mana onto Tarek. Oh, we actually have the Ignite, and then the flash, the cleanse and the flash from Ash, just dodging it right over there. Almost able to pick up Liquidity if he had turned around.
Yeah.
But even so, really nice play there. You saw Yorick up top. He made a nice decision, and he almost had Jax. He could have, and in that Jax was low on mana. We saw the flash at the end to get off that last attack, and you saw Yorick, along with the slow onto Jax, was a little bit faster, so he was close to being able to kite around Jax a little bit. If he had been able to, he was very close to having that kill. But now it's really fighting a losing battle against the clock, and Jax, now with that Cutlass, is going to be so aggressive, has the regen. We do see Yeti's going to be disrupted here a little bit by NK Inc., going to be able to back off. But even so, having that life steal and having that extra damage on Jax, along with the slow, is going to be so aggressive in that top lane.
Not to mention, look at Gragas here. He's going the 3 GP10 build, so it really speaks to Team Green Forest. They're really looking for the late game carry, the late game push. Not to mention, we've seen it before. The pick, Kage's lucky pick, has been built into DFG quite often now. It's quite a popular pick on a lot of AP mids, and Gragas does get very up close and personal, especially with the body slam. So it will be a good call moving forward. Liquidity getting some free damage here onto Ash trying to get away, and the stun going down onto Janna. More damage. The ult being popped by Tarek just for a little bit something extra, but TGF will back off, and Janna's pretty hurt.
Yeah, and so the big thing for Alchemy is figuring out how they can turn this around right now. And they've actually done a decent job so far. They are getting out-farmed pretty significantly by TGF. And it's going to be kind of difficult, but if they can get some nice engages, we do see Jax jumping onto Yorick once again, and here we go with that super powerful Jax just chasing him down underneath the tower, is quickly able to pick up the kill. Shyvana and Nautilus are both ganking down in this bottom lane. We have the Ash arrow up, but not a whole lot of damage to follow up with it, so Nautilus engaging with his ultimate will be able to get onto Graves here, but unfortunately Shyvana is here as well, throws off the dragon form. It does not hit Nautilus. We have the Monsoon from Janna, so they will be able to get out of there.
Ash saved the arrow from that fight. Did not use it right now. Just not the right call, and I agree with it.
Gragas is down here as well, though, so we'll see if we get some of his damage underneath that turret. He could quickly pick up 2 kills.
And there comes waiting for the ult. There we go. We got the damage on Jan just a little bit. Does not hit Ash, but she is isolated from the rest of the team. And TGF 4 men down bot will be able to pick up that quick kill as well. So now it's established that TGF is actually roaming as a pack to grab these quick kills and being quite effective at it as well. So you get, and that also, TGF is now at the point in the lead where they can afford to roam, even if these ganks don't go quite as well. They're 7K in gold ahead. It's a pretty steep lead from this point. So there is still, I feel, something still to be said about Cassiopeia and Yorick. If one of them is allowed to farm up and get all the damage you need to, the Ignite going down on Cassiopeia, she might actually go down here. Last tick, there it goes. Yorick, I feel, he is a top laner. He's, one of his things, he just stays there and just pushes. Free creeps if given the opportunity, and that could be a big game changer for Alchemy. Just right up, because TGF, they get really close and personal. They're getting within melee range. Yorick, if building enough damage and if you can manage to get the items on the guy, could be a teamfight monster. But Jax continuing the pressure top lane. There's not.
Yeah, the issue is Yorick can't lane against Jax now, and that happens in most Jax lanes. We actually see some nice cutting from Yorick. He actually is probably going to be able to pick up this kill. One more tick of damage. Can Yorick chase it up?
Ghost
he
is
will
not
want to be
up
hitting
there.
him through the brush, so he does lose that vision, but still chasing him away. Jax actually getting caught on the Yorick Ghost, so pretty nice job there. We had the Ash Arrow as well, and the Nautilus ult with a ton of damage from Cassiopeia, trying to pick up a quick kill. The Dragon form right into the middle of the enemy team, and followed up by the Graves damage. He is going to turn onto Janna now after he picks up that Cassiopeia kill, and Ash is very close to going down. There's the body slam and the buckshot. Janna is able to flash out of there, and now they will be able to get this mid inhibitor most likely, unless they actually decide to back off, which it seems like they're going to do.
It's going to be still a little while before two members of Alchemy are up, but in the meantime, Ash's best opportunity right now. Everyone else is distracted. Jax had to go back. Let's take this tower real quick while we can. The ghouls doing quite a bit of work as well, but Jax will be back momentarily. Ashes is a little bit weaker, low on mana, no ult. He's suiciding in. He's trying to grab that tower. Can you get that last hit? Yes, you can. At what cost? I think at this point this is really, unfortunately, the best you can do, but still, tower, global gold, that's something for your team, that's something everyone can take a little bit of a solace in. Looks like the top tower for Alchemy will also go down. Jax will go ahead and push the lane, but still, that's an objective. That's gold for everybody. That's something that Alchemy sorely needs right now.
Yeah, and the big thing is to put TGF on the defensive, though we do see Nautilus coming up here. Pinku a little out of position, so the rest of his team is kind of split up. Neither of them really want to engage because they're both kind of scared of where the enemy might be, so they will be safe there. Jax, unfortunately, because Jax is so strong at this point, you always see this with Jax, he can just start split pushing, and so he can just sit in that top lane, get some nice ward coverage, and they're never going to be able to lane anyone against him. I mean, Yorick can't lane against Jax at this point. It's too difficult for him. We'll see whether or not Alchemy can get a nice team fight engaged like they like. We do see they're pinging Shyvana down in this bottom lane, and we might see an Ash Arrow coming up any second now. Nautilus and Janna kind of positioning themselves. They will back off. So Shyvana was taking a ward, but unfortunately they weren't able to get the engage they want.
Pings going down in mid onto Tarek. Jax combo stun going down onto Janna, but Jax does have something to say about that actually being enough, and that is the Ash Arrow going down onto Pinku, followed up by the Cassiopeia. Should actually get the kill onto Tarek. There we go. Cassiopeia managed to grab that one, but NK Inc. does have something to say about it. Double kill going down from Jax. Nautilus is here trying to dish out some CC. See if we can't go ahead and get the kill on the Jax, but is he going to be able to get away? He does manage to leap strike to a nearby minion, but is the Nautilus ult up? No, it is not, but can the ghouls do the finishing blow? Just barely. Ashes, can you get there? Yes, you can. And a little bit of assist XP onto Nautilus as well. He did ding, but Liquidity is now here to put some extra hurt onto the remaining members of Alchemy. Ashes is in the middle of it. Ult is down. Not a whole lot to be done, and Shyvana is there with Dragon Form. The ult from Gragas does whiff, but he does bust himself over the forest wall.
And the nice cleanse from Gurney, going to be able to get himself out of there. Unfortunately, he has to deal with Liquidity on the other side. With Janna here, he should be fine. And so really nice job from Alchemy Gaming getting out of there, not giving up any more kills. Yeah,
that was actually pretty good, all things considered. And Ashes, did a nice little escape route and good timing from good time from Ash. But right now, Graves does actually get caught out in the bush. So nice free kill for Cassiopeia. That is something. That is some gold. Yeah, definitely needed. And now Alchemy may actually be in a little bit of a position here to start catching members of TGF off guard, because you see in the chase as extended chases go on, you see TGF get a little bit more split as things start to disengage. That may be Alchemy's opportunity to go ahead and sneak off some free kills, like on Liquidity we just saw.
Yeah, and we do see Wiley going to be grabbing up this blue, so to have that on cast would be huge. Unfortunately, NK incoming. He does have a ward coverage here, so he's going to try and engage. We have the body slam, just barely not in range. He will be able to get out of there, but, you know, really kind of dangerous at this point, just how much damage Gragas has. We do see all of Alchemy Gaming, other than Ash and Cass, kind of sitting up mid.
Yep.
Ash just going to continue farming down bottom, has those golems. And so we'll see whether or not they can get engaged. A lot of it has to do with how effectively Ash can hit her arrows and whether or not she can pick off a target that's going to be a high priority target.
Well, see, right now you see Swift and you see Keon actually split pushing pretty effectively right now. So this is Alchemy's opportunity. It's like, okay, they're split pushing. Not the entire team is here. This is the time to push mid and put some aggression on. We can outnumber them. We can try and muscle them out of these situations, or we can also try and get isolated members of TGF down once again, just as seen earlier with the Graves. They know Jax is around. They don't exactly have the best vision on him, but the rest of TGF is still pushing mid. This could be an opportunity, and Pink is a little bit too far out. Down goes a stun and a tornado, keeping him popped up. Gragas barrel keeping Cassiopeia away, but Jax is behind Alchemy if he manages to join the fight just in time. Nautilus is going in, tries to get the root onto someone, but there's Jax not too far by, and that is the Gragas ult, getting Cassiopeia off guard, and Jax singling out the Ashe, being able to grab that kill. So now Alchemy Gaming 3v5. Jax just go ahead, grab the bot tower on his own. A defensive mode we have to go into.
Yeah, that's the big thing with Jax, is that Jax, along with Gragas, we can split push the team very effectively. Jax, no one in the game can fight Jax right now, and so he can go bottom. We will see some nice damage. Oh, not going to go down. So Jax and Shyvana can both split push, and then Gragas has enough wave clearing capability and has the disengage that he knows his team is very safe and can control fights without Jax. And so they will be able to take this mid turret. We'll be able to pressure this inhibitor as well, and so they should be able to grab it. And in the meantime, Jax and Shyvana are aggressively pushing bottom.
There should be going down pretty shortly. The rest of TGF guy, they've got the arrow going down to Liquidity. The slow from Cassiopeia on the ult will help keep him still. Quick kill onto Graves. Now Ink is the next target. The hawk shot going down, getting some vision, and Nautilus getting a little bit too chunked out by Jax in the meantime. But there goes the flashes in pursuit for the kill there. But Shyvana will go down in exchange. Jax and Gragas, they're still here, albeit a little bit trapped. Can Ashes actually do something about this? Poison go down, and the barrel, and Hagen over the wall from Gragas, but Cassiopeia with a very wise ult, but does still get caught with another stray barrel. Ashes is still in this fight, along with Janna and Ashe. Jax trying to do something. Monsoon keeping him against the forest wall, but Ashe is now in a little bit of trouble, cannot get away from the huge burst damage of Gragas and Jax.
Yeah, and so with that fight, they should be able to take this turret here. We have the stun coming in onto Ashes, and Kuhn is chasing him down with the rest of the team. They should easily pick up this kill, so Yorick is going to go down, and so this is going to be a turret. There's not a whole lot that Nautilus and Janna can do on their own, and we'll see. I mean, Jax is pretty low, so he kind of needs to play a little bit defensively here. We have the Whirlwind going off, but they should be able to take this, and with how strong they are at this point in the game, it should be over pretty shortly. And the big thing is, it's late game Jax, and they were able to take laning advantages. We're able to out farm their opponents pretty easily and just snowball pretty quickly.
Yeah, it is unfortunate, but there are also two naked inhibitors here on the side of Alchemy, and I think right now it's just going to be the slow push from TGF in here. They can now muscle Alchemy wherever they are. The gold lead is pretty staggering at this point, so now it's you hit points in a game like this, and you just got to think the mentality now going into game number 2. And I'm pretty sure everyone in Alchemy right now is just saying, ban Jax, ban Jax, ban Jax, because he's pretty monstrous at the moment. 9-1-2. The farm over Yorick is fairly large. It's about a 50 creep kill advantage. And now you see TGF here gathering up towards Baron. Should be able to take this out pretty quick. And Alchemy is none the wiser, unfortunately. So this should be a free Baron. TGF will just go ahead and push any lane they want, and should be able to secure the game with this.
Yeah, both Jax and Shyvana are very strong at taking Barons, so they can take it really easily, don't lose a lot of health, and then they have the control from the rest of their team. So because they're so far ahead, they will be able to take it. They have 2 open inhibitors, so both of those inhibitors should be going down. And, we'll see. This is going to be kind of the last hurrah for Alchemy for this game. And then we'll see how, they can change coming into game number 2. And the big deal, I don't know, they can't allow top to, all of the lanes to get out of control so early. And they did a decent job in lane. They need a little bit more farm. They probably want to group up a little bit earlier. And so Alchemy, if they're going to win, they're really not going to win in the laning phase. They need to win through team fights. So they're probably going to want a more aggressive team, try and pick up kills early on, and just, constantly fight with TGF and see if they can snowball from early fights.
Yeah, the Nautilus was a good pickup. The Cassiopeia there's nothing wrong with any of the team pickups here on Alchemy. It's just, TGF, they knew their advantages. They roamed a little bit earlier than usual, and not to mention Jax top lane, just an absolute monster. So, so it's left to it's just to think what's going on into game number 2, and Banjax is definitely a possibility, and there may also be a little bit of a comp change in the works for Alchemy as well. Possibly there was a lot of CC, but as you notice now, the damage is slightly lacking, so maybe a little less CDC. Next time, and maybe a little bit more of a huge damage dealer.
I think the big thing is just having a nice synergized team, and so their picks were very nice. Yorick was definitely a decent pick for that top lane to kind of shut down Jax, but if instead of Yorick we went with someone like Vladimir, and then instead of Cassiopeia we went with someone like Morgana to have a little bit more fight control. We have the ult from Gragas, though. It's very spammable at this point. It's about a 40-second cooldown, taking Janna below half health, so that's just how much damage it does right now. He could almost take the team all on his own. We will see them pushing up, and unfortunately when you're kind of defending the turret, you tend to group up. That's going to make it perfect for Gragas to get some nice barrels.
Yeah, Morgana was Alchemy actually did ban out Morgana this game, but they have to let up a ban if they want to get rid of Jax. So there may be a possibility they will be more likely second pick going on into game number 2. But hey, there's always lots of options. Arrow now going down onto Jax, keeping him isolated, but the damage he's taken is quite minimal. And for this point, TGF is just going to go ahead and impose their will onto Alchemy Gaming. Nautilus being chased out. The Monsoon trying to keep TGF away, but the Leap Strike will go ahead and catch up on that. Kill going down onto Janna, and now it looks like TGF will just go ahead and grab these Nexus turrets and then onto the Nexus. So game number 1 going to Team Green Forest. They were penalized going into this game down a set, but now it's even 1-1. So this next game will be the decider on who's going over to the round of 16.
Yeah, and we'll have to see how Alchemy Gaming is going to respond coming into, I guess, technically game number 3. It is game 2, but it is a 1-1 even set. So, because of the TGF forfeit earlier, I guess not forfeit, but penalty. Yeah, so we'll have to see. I mean, TGF, they had a really strong team. They knew what they were doing. They're a really solid team overall, and it's going to be really difficult for Alchemy to, beat a team like that. It's just... They're just such all-around strong players, and have that kind of team synergy. So I don't know. Right off the bat, I think you need to ban Jax. You just can't allow a lane like that can just become so unstoppable. Gragas was really disruptive, but if you ban Gragas, then you're just going to see someone else who's equally as disruptive, and that's going to be an issue. But I think if you ban Jax, see where you go from there. Pick a little bit more of an aggressive early game team, and see what kind of advantages you can take.
Yep. So hey, we'll go ahead and we'll see what happens on with the game number 2. So, game number 2 set's going to be even. There was a penalty on Team Green Forest earlier, but sometimes we've seen it's happened before to a lot of teams we've had in qualifiers as well. Like Curse, I remember being penalized. Dynamic was penalized and still able to come back from it. But we'll see what happens. Going to go to a quick commercial break, and we will be right back. The decider between Team Green Forest and Alchemy Gaming, who's moving on to round of 16, IPL5 NA Qualifier number 2. See you in a second.